Chosen one, listen closely. The heavens have leaned low over the earth, and this very moment has been marked in eternity. On December 5th, while others moved through their routines unaware, heaven paused. The scrolls of remembrance were opened, and your name, yes, your name was written again in the record of faithfulness. You have no idea what that single act of endurance set into motion in the spirit realm. Every tear you hid, every night you whispered prayers no one else heard, every moment you chose faith over fear. Heaven saw it all. Nothing you did was forgotten. Each small step of obedience, each moment you stood firm when it would have been easier to give up, has been documented before the throne of the Most High. You thought you were walking alone through the fire, but angels stood beside you, watching, recording, waiting for the moment God would say, "It is time." Chosen one, hear this clearly. December 5th was not just another day. It was a divine checkpoint. Heaven recorded your loyalty not as a routine entry, but as a verdict evidence that you have been faithful under pressure. You did not realize that while you were crying in private, heaven was standing in attention. Every battle, every betrayal, every disappointment was turned into testimony ink on your behalf. The reason your warfare intensified is because you crossed into the hour of recognition. When heaven records your faithfulness, hell reacts in fury. But do not be afraid. What God has sealed cannot be revoked. The attacks were never meant to destroy you, they were meant to reveal the strength God built within you. You stood your ground when many fell away, and that is why the record was written. Now, heaven whispers a new decree over you. The waiting is ending. The evidence is complete. The reward is on its way. Every silent season is about to make sense. The places where you felt unseen will soon become stages for divine recognition. The same God who saw you in tears will now display you in triumph. This is not the time to retreat. This is the time to rise. Stand tall, for the hand of God rests upon you. What was written above your life on December 5th cannot be undone by any force below. Your story is shifting from hidden faithfulness to open favor. As the ancient prophet Jeremiah declared, chapter 29, verse 11, "For I know the plans for you, plans to prosper, not to harm, plans of hope and future." That word belongs to you. The plans are still intact. The delay did not cancel your destiny, it refined it. The very moments that broke you are the moments that heaven used to rebuild you into someone unshakable. You thought the fire was meant to destroy you, but the fire was the very tool that forged your crown. Every disappointment was divine construction. Every no was protection. Every closed door redirected you toward the one that no man can shut. You were being trained in silence for influence, tested in obscurity so you could be trusted in visibility. Chosen one, do not despise your hidden years. They were sacred. God was molding your character while no one was clapping. He was teaching you the language of endurance, the rhythm of humility, and the discipline of patience. The anointing you carry now was costly. It came through pressure. And heaven, in its wisdom, knew that only through testing could your strength be proven genuine. Now, the time of unveiling approaches. Heaven is preparing a stage not of your choosing, but of His design. You will not have to force doors open. They will open at your arrival because of what has been recorded in your favor. You are not stepping into something new. You are stepping into what has already been promised. Chosen one. Listen carefully, you are not late. You are right on schedule. Everything you endured has been counted, and the heavens are shifting in your favor. Your tears were receipts of faith. Now heaven releases repayment. You will walk into rooms where the favor of God will go before you. You will see divine reversals that leave even your enemies speechless. This message found you because heaven scheduled it. There are no coincidences here. If these words resonate deep in your spirit, respond as an act of faith. Comment 777 below to declare that you received this divine confirmation. Then like, share, and subscribe, not for algorithmic noise, but to stay aligned with the flow of heaven's messages prepared for you. Your faithfulness has been recorded. Your reward is already in motion. Stay ready, chosen one. The heavens have written your name in glory. Chosen one. You had no idea who was watching when you stayed faithful in the dark. While you stood trembling yet trusting, angels stood over you, taking note of every unseen act. You were unaware that the heavenly realm was observing, recording, and marking your quiet obedience. When you prayed for others who never prayed for you, when you forgave instead of retaliating, heaven wrote it down. Every hidden sacrifice became eternal evidence. You thought you were forgotten, but you were under observation by the courts of glory. There were nights when silence felt unbearable. You asked, "Does God even see me?" The world around you seemed indifferent to your faith, and your heart wrestled with doubt. But heaven was watching more closely than ever. The eyes of the Lord never close, never lose focus, never miss a detail. Every tear shed was not wasted, it became a testimony of devotion. Every sigh became a sound heaven recognized. Even when you felt unseen, you were surrounded by divine witnesses. You have to understand, chosen one, that heaven's attention is not random. God observes with purpose. His eyes do not watch to condemn, but to confirm what he already placed within you. Your faith has become evidence before all creation that light still wins. You have walked through shadowed places and still chosen truth, and because of that, your name has been mentioned in holy chambers. The moments you thought meant nothing became sermons for angels. Every time you resisted temptation, heaven recorded it. Every time you prayed instead of complaining, it echoed in eternity. You didn't see the pens of angels moving, but they were. You didn't hear the whispers of heaven's record keepers, but they were speaking your name. The unseen audience that surrounds you applauded every moment you chose faithfulness over convenience. You must realize now that God has been using your hiddenness to build holy history. Your life has not been quiet, it has been documented. There are pages of heaven filled with your perseverance, and soon, those records will be read aloud through the language of reward. The very areas where you felt unseen will become places of undeniable manifestation. You are not overlooked, you are observed, and not by man, but by the one whose eyes flame with truth. You live under a sacred gaze. When you walk through the fire, he does not look away. When you stumble and rise again, he writes it as victory. You are the evidence that faith endures. The voice of God thundered in the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 9. For the eyes of the Lord range through the earth to strengthen those fully committed to him. That is your confirmation. Chosen one, the eyes of God have been ranging, searching, and finding you steadfast. When others gave up, your heart remained committed, and heaven took notice. God himself has been your witness. Not a single act of devotion escaped his attention. Even in moments when your hands trembled and your faith felt like a flickering candle, he saw the spark and called it fire. When your prayers were reduced to whispers, heaven heard them as thunder. When your strength was gone, but you still chose to stand, the throne room echoed with holy applause. You have been the sermon that heaven points to when faith seems rare on earth. Understand, this divine observation is not passive. When God watches, he also prepares. The same eyes that saw your faithfulness are the eyes that now orchestrate your restoration. He has watched long enough. Now he moves. The season of hidden testing gives way to visible favor. The same eyes that followed you through the valley will now guide you onto the mountain. Chosen one. Nothing escapes his gaze, and because of that, nothing can stop his plan. Keep your heart steady. The one who saw you in secret is about to honor you in the open. He has watched your growth through the storms, your compassion through betrayal, your steadfastness in delay. You did not perform for the applause of men, but heaven's attention has been upon you nonetheless. Every unseen moment of faith has become divine currency, stored up for a time of release. This is why you sometimes felt an invisible weight in your spirit, a sense that your life was being measured on a level deeper than appearances. You were right. Heaven was examining the depths of your heart, confirming your authenticity before promoting you. The time of hidden proof is nearly complete. Hold steady. Continue to move quietly, faithfully, confidently. Do not chase recognition. Let recognition chase you. What has been recorded cannot be erased. You have been seen, chosen one, and the one who saw you has already decreed your strengthening. Heaven's eyes are not merely watching, they are preparing to move on your behalf. The next chapter of your life will reveal what those eyes have already seen: a heart steadfast, tested, and true. Chosen one. The weight of waiting has been heavy upon your shoulders. You have walked through seasons where the silence of heaven felt louder than thunder. You prayed, and the heavens seemed still. You hoped, and nothing seemed to shift. But listen carefully. Heaven was not ignoring you. Heaven was measuring you. The stillness you felt was the testing ground of faith. God was never absent. He was observing how you would respond when the promise seemed delayed. Waiting is not punishment, it is refinement. Every delay is a divine classroom where trust becomes unshakable. The Lord could have answered you immediately, but if He had, you would have missed the strength that only comes through endurance. You wanted speed. He wanted depth. You wanted relief. He wanted revelation. Waiting stretched your faith beyond your understanding and proved that your devotion was not dependent on results but on relationship. You have been like a seed buried in darkness, thinking you were forgotten. But a seed is not buried to die, it is buried to grow. The soil felt like isolation, but in truth, it was protection. God was shielding you from exposure too early. He was preparing the environment for your unveiling. Heaven was not saying no, it was saying not yet. In the unseen realm, there is movement that your eyes cannot yet perceive. While you waited, angels were aligning circumstances, preparing hearts, and arranging divine timing. You didn't lose time. Time was working for you. What seemed like delay was divine synchronization. Chosen one, when you cried, "Lord, how long?" heaven answered, "Until what I planted in you can stand the weight of what I'm about to give." The waiting has stretched you to contain the promise. You are not being denied, you are being enlarged. There are moments when waiting feels cruel, but in truth, it is mercy in disguise. God withholds prematurely so you can receive fully. The delay is proof that He trusts you with more than instant gratification. He trusts you with destiny. You were not waiting for nothing, heaven was preparing you for something. You must know this: what's coming will not be small. The long waiting was a sign of the magnitude of what is being released. The greater the waiting, the greater the weight of glory that follows. You are not stepping into an ordinary blessing. You are stepping into something written before time began. Every sigh, every weary moment, every whispered "I still believe" has been converted into divine currency. The Spirit spoke through the writings of David in the book of Psalms, chapter 27, verse 14. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. These words are not a suggestion, they are an invitation to divine strength. Waiting is not passive, it is warfare in stillness. You are proving that your faith is stronger than fear, that your hope outlasts exhaustion. And now, as heaven's clock strikes divine timing, you will see what your waiting was building. The atmosphere around you is changing. The silence that once felt endless is now trembling under the sound of fulfillment. The same God who asked you to wait is now whispering, "It's time." Every withheld answer will now make sense in a single moment. Every delay will transform into acceleration. You will suddenly understand why God made you wait. It was so that the miracle would not just bless you, but also define you. Chosen one, if you could see what is forming in the unseen, your tears would turn into praise. You would understand that not 1 second was wasted. Heaven has been working on your behalf in dimensions you cannot imagine. You were never standing still, you were being positioned. So now, take a breath. The waiting is not eternal. It has an expiration date, and that date is near. Your patience has become prophecy. Your endurance has become evidence. You have passed the test that many could not endure. You stayed faithful when comfort screamed louder than purpose. And because of that, you are about to witness divine turnaround. Now, I want you to act on faith. Type these words below, "I still believe." Do it as a declaration, not for attention, but as a prophetic sign that you refuse to give up on what heaven has promised. When you write it, something shifts in the spirit. It becomes an echo of your endurance. It tells heaven, "I'm still standing. I trust even when I cannot see." You are not waiting for God to remember you. God is waiting for the perfect moment to reveal what He already finished. Hold steady. Chosen one. What has been prepared in silence will soon thunder into manifestation. Chosen one. The silence that has surrounded you is not without meaning. There comes a time in every divine story when heaven stops speaking, not out of anger, but out of strategy. You have wondered, why has the voice of God gone quiet? You replayed the last thing He said, searching for hidden instruction. You listened for whispers and received only stillness. Yet it is in this sacred silence that the deepest transformation occurs. Heaven's silence is not absence, it is alignment. When God stops speaking, He is watching what you will do with what He has already said. The test of faith is not found in the moments of revelation, but in the moments of restraint. When the voice that guided you withdraws, He is teaching you to walk by trust, not by constant reassurance. Every prophet, every chosen vessel has passed through this valley of divine quietness. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Think of it this way: when a teacher is giving a test, the classroom is silent, the instructor is present, but their voice is withheld. Not because they have abandoned the students, but because they have already given all the information needed. So it is with God and you, chosen one. The silence is the exam. Your endurance is the answer. You may not realize it, but the quiet you've endured is producing spiritual maturity. In the absence of sound, your discernment grows sharper. In the pause, your faith roots dig deeper. The silence is God's way of proving that your love for Him is not based on constant signs or feelings, it is anchored in conviction. You are being trained to stand when nothing affirms you, to trust when there are no goosebumps, to believe when the heavens seem mute. There are days when you look at the sky and ask, "Are you still with me?" The answer, though unspoken, is always. The silence of heaven is often the loudest statement of trust. It means that God knows you can handle the unseen, He has shifted you from needing constant comfort to walking in quiet confidence. The Father trusts your maturity now more than ever before. In the midst of the stillness, heaven is not idle. While you have been wondering if anything is moving, the spiritual machinery behind your destiny has been grinding at full speed. God's silence is not a pause in activity. It is a veil over divine construction. When He hides His voice, He is usually building something He does not want the enemy to detect. Your silent season has been your camouflage, heaven's way of keeping your next move protected. Chosen one, you were not abandoned. You were being secured. The quiet was your cocoon, wrapping around your vulnerability until transformation was complete. You may not have seen it, but your spirit was growing wings in the silence. Soon, you will break forth, and the stillness will erupt into a sound of fulfillment. The heaven that once seemed quiet will roar in your favor. Remember, this truth revelation follows silence the way dawn follows night. After the test comes the instruction. After the pause comes the purpose. The moment God speaks again, you will realize that His silence was strategy all along. You will look back and understand that what felt like absence was actually the birthplace of intimacy. The stillness taught you to recognize His presence in ways noise never could. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you, nor forsake you. Even when heaven is quiet, it is still with you. Silence is not separation. It is the sound of divine nearness that needs no words. God's presence does not always announce itself. It often cloaks itself in stillness so that your spirit learns to sense rather than merely hear. The silence has taught you that faith is not a reaction. It is a posture. You now understand that you do not need constant confirmation to know that you are chosen. You no longer depend on signs because you have become one. The mark of divine maturity is learning to walk through silence with steady steps. This is the sacred mystery of heaven's quiet seasons. They prepare you for the roar of destiny. Every word that God will speak in your next chapter will carry the weight of what you endured in this one. When He breaks the silence, His voice will come with reward, restoration, and revelation. So breathe, chosen one. The silence is almost over. Soon, the same heaven that tested your patience will thunder your name into fulfillment. The quiet has refined you, not diminished you. The lack of sound was never lack of presence. It was heaven holding its breath as you proved your faith. And now, the silence that once scared you will become your testimony. For those who have ears to hear, your endurance will speak louder than words ever could. Chosen one, you have waited in silence. And now the atmosphere begins to shift. There comes a moment when heaven breaks its stillness not with a shout, but with signs. Confirmation begins to whisper through the fabric of your days. You will notice patterns, alignments, numbers, conversations that seem too precise to be coincidence. It is heaven's way of saying, you were never forgotten. God often speaks in echoes before He speaks in thunder. Before a new season begins, He sends traces of evidence, dreams that return with clarity, scriptures that come alive, unexpected encounters that stir your heart. These are divine breadcrumbs leading you toward destiny. You may wake up one morning and feel an unexplainable peace, or see a door open effortlessly where resistance once lived. This is how heaven confirms your faithfulness. The confirmation sign is never random. It comes tailored to your story, wrapped in symbols that only your heart will understand. For one, it may be a repeated number. For another, a sudden opportunity. God speaks the language of the heart fluently. He knows what will make you pause and say, "This cannot be coincidence." When that moment happens, remember heaven is responding, but there is more. These confirmations are not rewards for good behavior, they are invitations to deeper trust. They are not applause from heaven, but assignments disguised as encouragement. When you receive a sign, it is heaven's way of saying, "I am with you. Keep going." Every divine nudge is a spark meant to rekindle your courage. In this season, your sensitivity will increase. You will sense God in small moments, like the wind brushing through your window, or the stranger who speaks a word that mirrors your prayer. You are walking into a time where heaven's fingerprints are everywhere. You are not to chase signs, but to recognize them when they appear. Confirmation is the compass, not the destination. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Chosen one, your proper time is near. The harvest is not future tense, it is forming. Heaven's confirmation is not just a sign, it is the sound of seeds beginning to break the soil. What you sowed in tears is now germinating in glory. There's a rhythm in the kingdom sowing. Silence, then confirmation. You have sown through prayer. You endured the silence, and now the signs begin to appear like dawn light. When you see them, don't take them lightly. Treat them like sacred letters written by God's own hand. And as you receive, remember to keep your heart open. Just as you are nourished by these words, others wait for light too. Be the bridge that carries hope forward. When this message finds you, don't hold it and share it, like a candle lighting another. Your act of sharing multiplies warmth. Your simple gesture, clicking like, passing the word to another weary soul, becomes modern-day ministry. When you subscribe, you're not joining a platform, you're anchoring yourself in a stream of revelation that keeps heaven's voice flowing into your life. And if your heart ever feels stirred to give, to plant into this work, treat it as an offering of gratitude. Every seed of generosity becomes part of a larger story, one that keeps these messages alive for others who need them as desperately as you once did. Giving is never a transaction. It is a declaration: I believe in what heaven is doing here. Just as rain does not beg the earth to respond, the word you sow will not return void. Imagine your support, your likes, shares, comments, or gifts as drops of oil feeding the flame of a great lamp. Each one keeps the light burning so that others lost in night can find their way home. You are not just a listener, you are a torchbearer in this movement of light. Chosen one, these messages are not entertainment, they are lifelines. When you share them, you are scattering seeds of awakening across the world. When you subscribe, you are saying, "Keep the oil flowing." When you give, you are saying, "Let this flame never die." Everything you do in faith multiplies beyond what you see. Heaven counts it all. So as confirmation begins to unfold around you, remember you are part of heaven's plan, not just to receive light, but to carry it. Every act of faith, however small, keeps the fire alive for someone else. And perhaps, when you needed a word the most, someone else's small act made it possible for this one to reach you. That is how heaven works, through unseen bridges built by willing hearts. Now the signs are coming. Pay attention to the whispers, the coincidences that aren't coincidences, the stillness that suddenly feels alive with meaning. Heaven is moving, and you are right in the center of its unfolding. Chosen one, the scrolls have been opened. In the courts of heaven, records are being read aloud: your name, your prayers, your perseverance. What was written in secret is now echoing in the spirit. Every time you chose faith over fear, Your entry was sealed in gold. Every moment you trusted without proof became testimony. Now, the books of remembrance are no longer closed. They have been brought before the throne for activation. Imagine it angels standing at attention, their wings glimmering in divine light as they unroll a scroll bearing your name. On that scroll are not your failures but your faith, not your losses but your loyalty. The ink of your tears has become the signature of your endurance. Heaven reads your story not as tragedy but as triumph. What the world overlooked, heaven recorded for months, even years. You thought your prayers had vanished into the void, but they were never lost, they were stored. They were. Every word you spoke in faith became a line in the record of divine justice. Every act of obedience, every offering, every forgiving gesture, heaven wrote them down. You were not sowing into emptiness. You were filling the archives of eternity. Chosen one, these records are not symbolic, they are strategic. Heaven documents faith to release justice. When God opens a scroll, it means a verdict is about to be issued. That is why lately, you have felt a stirring in your spirit. Something unseen has shifted. The court has convened. The judge of all creation has leaned forward to declare it is time. The enemy has accused you, whispering that you failed, that you were forgotten, that you are unworthy of what's coming. But the records speak louder than accusation. The evidence of your faith stands before God like radiant armor. The adversary cannot erase what heaven has written. He cannot argue against the proof of your endurance. You are standing in a divine courtroom where mercy overrules condemnation. The voices that once mocked you are being silenced one by one. The judge himself has spoken your name, not in anger but in affection, and the verdict is victory. The accusations of darkness are dissolving like smoke before sunrise. Every word spoken against your destiny now falls powerless. The fire of truth consumes the lies, and your spirit rises unbound. Heaven's declaration over you is final. You are vindicated, chosen, and free. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Malachi, chapter 3, verse 16. Then those who feared the Lord talked with each other, and the Lord listened and heard. A scroll of remembrance was written in his presence concerning those who feared the Lord and honored his name. That chosen one is what is happening right now. Heaven has not forgotten your name, it has recorded it. The scrolls are open, the witnesses stand near, and divine recompense is being released. What was delayed is being delivered. What was stored is now being poured out. There are moments in life when heaven turns a page, and you can feel the air shift. That's what you're sensing now, a transition between chapters. The records are complete, and the verdict has been reached. God has examined your faith, measured your heart, and found you faithful. The waiting season is closing, and a new decree is being written. Release favor, restore joy, redeem time. Heaven's system is precise. Nothing escapes its balance. You have been faithful in the quiet places, and now the reward of faithfulness begins to manifest in visible form. Relationships once broken will heal suddenly. Opportunities long withheld will reappear. Provision will come from unexpected directions. All of it tied to the evidence in your heavenly file, chosen one. You must understand this truth: what is happening around you is not random. It is the visible reflection of invisible justice. The same way a judge signs a verdict in a courtroom, heaven has already stamped your scroll with approval. The seal is divine, and no human hand can revoke it. When you feel the sudden urge to praise without reason, it is because your spirit senses that heaven is reading your name aloud. When you experience unexplainable peace in the middle of chaos, it is because your record is speaking for you. Heaven remembers, Heaven rewards. Heaven restores. Now, take a deep breath and let this truth settle into your bones. You are known, recorded, and chosen. Every tear has been numbered, every act of faith catalogued. The scrolls were not opened to remind you of your past, but to release your future, and you have been cleared, affirmed, and positioned for glory. And as a prophetic act of agreement, type 1111 below. Let that number stand as your signature in the spirit, a symbol of divine alignment and open doors. When you write it, let it echo your faith. I agree with heaven's record. You are not declaring chance, you are confirming prophecy. The scrolls are open, the ink of heaven still fresh, and your story is now being proclaimed as testimony. You have been found faithful, chosen one, and the time of manifestation begins. Chosen one. Before the reward, there must always come a shaking. It is heaven's way of removing what cannot endure the weight of glory. You may have wondered why everything around you began to tremble just as you began to hope again. Relationships shifted, opportunities vanished, plans unraveled. It wasn't punishment, it was purification. What you built in your own strength could not contain what heaven was preparing. The shaking was mercy disguised as chaos. When God decides to elevate, He first exposes foundations. He allows the storm to test every structure to ensure only truth remains. You prayed for promotion, and heaven answered with pressure. The winds that tore through your stability were not meant to destroy you, but to prove you. Every crack revealed was an invitation to deeper trust. You were never in danger, you were in reconstruction. The earth beneath your feet may have felt unsteady, but your spirit was anchored. What looked like loss was actually rearrangement. God shook the ground not to punish you, but to separate you from what could not walk with you into the next season. There are people, places, and patterns that were never meant to survive your next level. The shaking revealed them so you would not carry unnecessary weight into your promise. When heaven shakes the earth, it is to reveal the unshakable. You are part of that remnant, a people who cannot be broken because their faith is not built on circumstances but on covenant. Every trial, every storm, every collapse only served to uncover the strength God hid within you. What survived the shaking is what is meant to last. Chosen one, the shaking also exposed what you believed about yourself. It stripped away false confidence and surface faith. You discovered that your security could not rest in possessions or approval, but only in presence. When the familiar fell apart, you met the unmovable God. You learned that peace is not the absence of conflict, but the awareness of His nearness. Do not despise the shaking. It was the sound of heaven preparing the stage for your unveiling. When walls crumble, foundations speak. When routines fall apart, revelation emerges. The shaking was heaven clearing space for expansion. If nothing had moved, nothing new could grow. You are standing now in the aftermath. And though your surroundings may look unfamiliar, look closely, the ground is fertile. The debris of what fell has become soil for what will rise. Your tears have watered it, and soon the first signs of divine growth will break through. What was removed will be replaced, not in kind, but in glory. The Spirit spoke through the writer of Hebrews. Chapter 12, verse 27. The words once more indicate the removing of what can be shaken, that is, created things, so that what cannot be shaken may remain. That is the pattern of your life right now. God has allowed temporary things to fall so that the eternal things in you can stand. You were not meant to build your identity on anything fragile. The shaking has reminded you that what is real cannot be lost. Heaven does not tremble when the earth quakes. It rejoices. Every shaking draws you closer to divine stability. Every storm clarifies your priorities. Every collapse refines your vision. You now know who you are and who you are not. You have learned to release what was never yours to hold. Sometimes the shaking feels violent, as if the very ground beneath you rejects your presence. But this is heaven uprooting what would have entangled you later, like a gardener removing weeds. God has been clearing the soil of your life to make room for abundance. The loss you mourned was actually protection. You prayed for peace, but peace required pruning. Chosen one, you must see the shaking as a threshold, not a threat. On one side lies what was familiar but insufficient. On the other side awaits what is divine and enduring. The trembling is the doorway between them. Heaven trusts you to walk through even when visibility is low. The same hands that shook your world are the hands that will steady your steps. And when the dust settles, you will realize something extraordinary. You did not just survive the shaking, you became the shaking. Your presence will now carry the authority of one who has endured. You will walk into rooms and atmospheres will shift. Darkness will tremble because it recognizes the sound of someone heaven has refined through fire and storm. You are not fragile. You are forged. You have been through shaking strong enough to break others, yet you stand taller, clearer, and more radiant. The heavens are aligning over you because the foundation beneath you has been proven. The shaking was heaven's final inspection before construction begins. Now, peace returns, not the fragile peace of comfort, but the steady peace of confidence. The dust clears and the sky above you opens with new light. The storm did not expose weakness, it revealed strength. Everything that could be shaken has been shaken, and what remains is unbreakable faith. Stand firm, chosen one. The trembling is over. The next sound you hear will not be collapse, it will be construction. Chosen one. As heaven recorded your faithfulness and the shaking revealed what was true, something else began to stir in the unseen, the reaction of the enemy. You may have felt it recently, the sudden waves of confusion, the strange resistance, the unexplainable heaviness that seems to press down just when light begins to break through. This is not coincidence. It is evidence that darkness has realized you cannot be stopped. The enemy does not waste effort on those standing still. He focuses his fury on those who are close to breakthrough. When heaven opens its scrolls, hell releases its noise. You have felt that noise in your spirit, whispers of fear, echoes of old lies, distractions designed to drain your focus. But you must remember, opposition is confirmation. If you were not a threat, you would not be targeted. You are like a beacon in the spirit realm, a flame too bright for shadows to ignore. Every step forward in faith sends tremors through darkness. The enemy trembles because he knows the record of heaven cannot be overturned. What has been written in your favor has already been sealed by divine decree. He cannot erase your name, so he tries to make you doubt it. He wants you to question what God has already settled. That is the nature of spiritual warfare. It does not begin with weapons, but with whispers. The serpent's tactic has never changed: to make the chosen question their identity. He could not steal your calling, so he tries to confuse your confidence. But you, chosen one, are wiser now. You can recognize the voice of deception and refuse to entertain it. Every attack you've endured was a reaction, not an initiation. Darkness never starts, it only responds. When heaven moved to record your faith, the enemy moved to resist. But resistance cannot reverse divine decision. What God seals cannot be unsealed by fear. The moment you understand this, the battlefield shifts from chaos to victory. The voice of God thundered in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication is from me, declares the Lord. Let those words sink into your spirit. Every weapon formed may appear, but it cannot succeed. Every accusation may be spoken, but it cannot stand. The heritage of the faithful is unshakable protection. You are not merely defended, you are vindicated. Heaven's decree of innocence still echoes over you. Look around at what has recently tried to distract you. The confusion, the sudden exhaustion, the feeling that old wounds have reopened, these are not signs of failure. They are signs of movement. When pressure increases, it is proof that you are approaching release. The enemy senses transition before you do, and he panics. But what he fears most is not your strength. It is your awakening. The moment you realize how protected you truly are, every tactic loses power. The shadow cannot intimidate the one who carries light. The storm cannot drown the one who walks with peace inside. The enemy's last weapon is illusion, and illusion dissolves in revelation. Chosen one, stand firm in this awareness. You are untouchable in purpose. Yes, battles will come, but they are now rehearsals for victory. What once frightened you now feeds your authority. You are learning to fight from triumph, not toward it. You no longer swing blindly in fear. You declare with clarity, knowing heaven fights with you. There is a sacred irony in warfare. The more the enemy attacks, the more he confirms your destiny. Every time he rises against you, he unknowingly fulfills prophecy. For it is written that light will always overcome darkness. Every dart aimed at you becomes proof of how valuable your calling is. You are not being attacked because you are weak. You are being attacked because you are weighty. The kingdom you carry threatens the counterfeit kingdoms around you. But even now, heaven laughs. The warfare that felt overwhelming is already turning in your favor. What the enemy meant for harm will become fuel for testimony. The very pressure that tried to silence you will amplify your voice. The schemes that were meant to wound will serve as evidence of divine protection. You are not losing ground, you are claiming it. Every battle has advanced your understanding, refined your discernment, and sharpened your spirit. You no longer fear the fight because you have realized something profound. Darkness cannot touch what is already illuminated from within. So walk boldly, chosen one. Let your steps announce victory before your voice does. The enemy may roar, but you carry the lion's DNA. His growl is only an echo compared to the authority that resounds through your spirit. You are guarded by unseen hosts, shielded by intercession, and surrounded by glory. Do not be surprised if opposition intensifies before breakthrough. It always does. But this time, you will not break. You have learned that battles are not punishments. They are platforms. You will stand firm, unafraid, radiant even in resistance, because you finally understand the fight is not proof of abandonment, it is proof of assignment. And when the smoke clears, it will not be the enemy's voice that remains, it will be the sound of your victory echoing across both heaven and earth. Chosen one, the fire that surrounds you now is not punishment, it is refinement. The pressure that feels unbearable is not the sign of God's distance, but of His nearness. You are in the furnace of transformation, and though the heat feels consuming, it is purifying you into gold. You are being refined, not reduced. Heaven knows exactly how long the process must last, and every degree of heat serves a purpose. When gold is placed in fire, the impurities rise to the surface. The metal itself never burns, it only becomes brighter. So it is with you. The trials of this season are exposing what no longer belongs: fear, doubt, resentment, self-blame. You are not losing yourself, you are discovering your truest form. The shaking broke what was external. and the fire is perfecting what is internal. You've asked, why does it have to hurt this much? The answer is both simple and sacred. Only what is valuable is refined. Heaven does not waste flame on what is disposable. You are enduring because you carry something eternal. The fire is heaven's proof that you are precious. Remember, the furnace is not meant to destroy but to distinguish. Many have felt heat, but only the chosen walk through it and emerge radiant. That is your story. Others might see ashes, but heaven sees beauty forming. The process is not about survival, it's about manifestation. Even now, the eyes of God are on you, not to rescue you prematurely, but to ensure that every impurity burns away. When this refining ends, you will no longer question your worth. You will not walk as someone hoping to be approved. You will walk as someone already purified for purpose. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Zechariah chapter 13, verse 9, I will bring them through the fire, refine like silver, test like gold. They will call and I will answer. That is your reality right now. You are the one being refined, the one God will call mine. The fire is not random, it is relationship. The heat that surrounds you is evidence that heaven is near, not far. Chosen one, every flame you feel has a divine fingerprint. The fire that tried to break you is forming your anointing. The tears you cry within this heat are holy water to heaven. Even as you tremble, you are being strengthened. The impurities that once clung to your heart, fear, comparison, insecurity, are melting away. What will remain is the essence of who you truly are: chosen, refined, unstoppable. Do not rush the process. The blacksmith never removes the metal too soon, or it remains weak. Likewise, God knows when the refining is complete. You may think, I can't take another moment. But the truth is, you are already standing in victory. The flame that was meant to consume you is now your covering. You are walking through what others could not endure, and heaven calls that glory. You are not alone in the fire, just as the fourth figure appeared in the furnace with the faithful of Babylon. There is one standing beside you even now. You cannot see him through the smoke, but his presence keeps you from burning. You will come out of this not smelling of ashes, but carrying fragrance, proof that divine companionship was your protection all along. So don't fight the fire, flow with it. Let it do its holy work. Let it refine, purify, and prepare you. When you emerge, you will not only shine, you will illuminate others. Those who see your story will know that God is real because of what you survived. Now, as a prophetic declaration that you trust this refining process, type through the fire below. Let it be your statement of courage. It's not just a comment, it's a covenant. When you write it, you're saying, I will not run from what's shaping me. I choose to trust the heat because I know who stands with me. The fire you face is not the end, it's the beginning of radiance. Every moment inside it is rewriting your legacy. When heaven looks at you now, it doesn't see a victim, it sees a vessel. When you walk out of this, nothing about you will remain the same. Your voice will carry new authority, your presence new peace. Chosen one. The fire is not your enemy, it's your maker. And when it's done, your life will shine so brightly that even darkness will remember your name. Chosen one, the time of unveiling has arrived. The prophetic season that was hidden beneath waiting, shaking, and fire is now opening like dawn. The light that once felt distant begins to rise within you. What was written in the scrolls is now manifesting in motion. This is the moment when purpose begins to take form, not as an idea, but as a reality. You have carried prophetic seeds inside of you. Seeds spoken over your life years ago. Words that seemed forgotten. Promises that felt buried, they are beginning to stir again. The soil that once felt heavy with delay is cracking open under divine command. You can feel it, can't you? That subtle pull in your spirit, that quiet knowing that something has shifted. It's not your imagination, it's activation. The Spirit who whispered in secret is now announcing in public. Heaven is unveiling what it hid within you. The very gifts you doubted will now speak for themselves. The anointing you carried silently is now drawing attention from places you never expected. The delay did not kill your destiny, it cultivated your depth. As was spoken in the sacred texts of Joel, chapter 2, verse 28. I will pour out my Spirit on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. The old shall dream dreams. That outpouring begins with you. The words of heaven are no longer confined to dreams, they are stepping into daylight. You have moved from prophecy heard to prophecy fulfilled. The same Spirit that hovered over creation now hovers over your life, breathing order into every fragmented piece. Chosen one, your voice carries weight now. When you speak, atmospheres shift. When you move, doors respond. You are not walking into a new season, you are the new season. Heaven has synchronized your steps with divine timing. Every encounter, every delay, every heartbreak has prepared you to handle this unveiling. But here, this revelation is not for display, it is for service. What is being revealed in you is meant to heal others. The unveiling of your purpose is heaven's answer to someone else's prayer. You are not just walking into promise, you are becoming the promise. You've been given light not to store it in jars, but to let it spill. Let it. When others hear your story, they will recognize the fingerprints of God. When you speak, they will feel the pull of eternity. And as you pour out, more will pour into you. That is how the divine flow works. What you release multiplies. This is why I ask you now, keep the river flowing. Every act of connection keeps this stream alive. When you like this message, it's more than a click, it's a ripple. It sends the current forward, letting the words of heaven reach those who still sit in silence. When you share, it's as if you hand someone else a key they didn't know they were missing. You become a carrier of light in a world that forgets how to see. And when you subscribe, you are not following a channel, you are anchoring yourself in a flow of continued revelation. You are saying, keep pouring, I am listening. This is not entertainment, it is encounter. And if ever your heart feels stirred to donate, know this, your seed becomes oil. Every drop you pour sustains the flame that keeps these messages burning. Giving is not a transaction, it's participation. It's how heaven multiplies light through willing vessels. Your support is not lost in numbers, it becomes nourishment for souls you may never meet. You are feeding a global table of faith, one act of generosity at a time. Think of it like this: each act of giving, sharing, or connecting is a spark in the divine tapestry. Alone, one spark glows briefly. Together, they become a sunrise. You are part of that sunrise. Heaven never works through one, it works through unity. Chosen one, you are stepping into a season where your obedience will carry more impact than your effort. You will speak less but accomplish more, rest more but produce greater. That is the nature of divine unveiling. It multiplies the little you give because it carries the breath of heaven. You may not realize it yet, but thousands are walking toward light because of the light you carry. Your faithfulness creates paths for others to find their own awakening. You are part of something vast and unseen, a movement of chosen ones rising quietly across the earth, each carrying a torch lit from the same eternal flame. So, continue walking with grace. Continue shining, even when you do not see who's watching. Continue sowing, even when you don't yet see the harvest. The unveiling is not just happening to you, it's happening through you. You are heaven's message in motion. The words that once found you are now flowing from you. And as you keep the river open, as you keep the flame alive, heaven will ensure you never run dry. Chosen one, step forward. The curtain is lifted, the stage is set, and the voice of heaven declares, "This is your time, chosen one." As heaven unveils what it has been shaping in secret, you begin to feel something new settle upon your spirit, an unseen garment of authority. It is not pride that you feel, it is weight, sacred and undeniable. This is the mantle of the marked ones. It rests on those who have endured what others could not, who remained faithful when obedience was costly. This mantle cannot be earned through talent, charisma, or intellect. It is granted through surrender. You have walked through valleys that few could survive, and in doing so, you have proven trustworthy with power. Heaven does not give crowns to those who crave them, it gives them to those who no longer need them. That is why the mantle now fits you perfectly. It once would have been too heavy, but now, it aligns with your spirit. You may not realize how visible you have become in the spirit. The same angels who once guarded you through warfare now move beside you as carriers of your assignment. You have become a signal to both heaven and darkness, proof that obedience produces authority. When you speak, realms respond. When you pray, atmospheres realign. What was once a whisper of faith has become a voice of command. This new weight is not for display but for service. Heaven does not anoint for performance, it anoints for purpose. Your mantle carries healing for those around you, wisdom for those searching, and courage for those breaking beneath pressure. The very pain that once isolated you has been transformed into oil. Each scar has become a vessel through which compassion flows. You no longer speak from theory. You speak from testimony. Chosen one. Do not shrink back when others notice the shift in you. They will see it without understanding it. Some will be drawn to the light upon you. Others will resist it, not because of who you are, but because of what you represent. Mantles draw attention, both divine and human. Do not fear this visibility, embrace it with humility. The glory resting upon you is not yours to hoard. It is heaven's to display. The ancient words recorded in 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 15 declare, "When the sons of the prophets who were watching at Jericho saw him, they said, 'The spirit of Elijah rests on Elisha.' And they went to meet him and bowed to the ground before him. So it is with you. The spirit of what came before now rests upon you, yet multiplied, refined, and purified through your own journey. You carry the continuation of a legacy that began long before your birth. Your mantle is not new, it is ancient power reborn through modern obedience. You have been marked not to rule, but to redeem. Your authority is not dominance, it is restoration. When you speak peace, chaos yields. When you enter rooms heavy with confusion, the air begins to still. You are not trying to be influential, you are influence embodied. Heaven has clothed you in recognition, not for applause, but for assignment. But know this, every mantle comes with responsibility. To wear divine weight is to carry the burden of compassion. You will feel what others feel, sense what others hide, and hear what others ignore. The greater your authority, the deeper your empathy must run. The mantle will teach you to love more fiercely, forgive more freely, and lead more gently. There will be moments when you feel the heaviness of this calling and think, "Am I truly ready for this?" That is when you must remember mantles are not given to the strong, they make you strong. The authority of heaven rests not on perfection but on yieldedness. You are not chosen because you are flawless. You are chosen because you are available. Do not mistake the mantle for comfort. It will stretch you, just as it strengthens you. You will be drawn into places that challenge your patience, compassion, and courage. Yet every time you act in faith, the mantle grows thicker around your shoulders. It conforms to you as you conform to purpose. Chosen one, the mantle also carries memory. It remembers the cries of prophets past, the faith of saints unseen, the blood of those who believed when the world doubted. You are part of that unbroken chain. The same spirit that rested on Elijah, that empowered Esther, that sustained Paul, now breathes through you. This is not imitation, it is continuation. Your words will carry fire, your silence will carry presence, and your mere arrival will carry meaning. People will not always understand it, but they will feel it. Some will find peace around you. Others will find conviction. The mantle reveals truth, and truth exposes everything unlike it. As you move forward, do not fear the responsibility you carry. Heaven equips whom it appoints. The oil that anointed you also sustains you. You will never have to perform this calling, only walk in it. Every step you take from now on will release impact, even in stillness. Chosen one, lift your head. The mantle resting upon you is heaven's acknowledgement that your preparation is complete. You are no longer a student of endurance. You are now a steward of glory. You have walked through fire, silence, and shaking. And now you emerge clothed in purpose. The same God who watched you weep now watches you rise. Walk gently, but walk boldly. For the world is waiting for the sound of your footsteps wrapped in divine authority, carrying the echo of heaven wherever you go. Chosen one, the mantle that now rests upon your life has already begun to stir movement in unseen places. What was sealed in the heavens is now unfolding on the earth. And the first visible sign of that unfolding is reversal. Heaven has declared a great reversal over you. The last will become first, the rejected will be restored, and what seemed like failure will be rewritten as favor. You are walking into a season where the script flips in your favor, divine justice for everything the enemy tried to steal. You have endured humiliation, misunderstanding, and delay, but none of it was wasted. Heaven is repaying you in the very currency of what you lost. Where you were mocked, you will be honored. Where doors were shut, you will walk through gates that were never meant for you before. Every tear has accumulated interest, and God is releasing the multiplied return. The reversals of heaven are not random, they are righteous. God does not restore casually, He restores completely. This means not only recovery of what was taken, but transformation of what was broken. You are not getting back what you had. You are receiving what you could not imagine. The Spirit spoke through the writings of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 11. You turned my mourning into dancing. You removed my sackcloth and clothed me with joy. Chosen one, that verse is your current reality. Heaven is dressing you in joy, clothing you in gladness, and rewriting the chapters that once carried shame. What once made you weep will soon make you worship. What once broke your heart will now build your testimony. You are about to experience reversals so astonishing that even those who doubted you will have no choice but to say, God's hand is on them. Your story will become undeniable evidence that heaven keeps its word. The same people who questioned your silence will witness your song. These reversals will come in unexpected ways. It might not be through grand displays of miracles, but through quiet shifts that carry divine fingerprints. The job offer you didn't see coming. The apology you never expected. The opportunity that feels tailor-made for your story, each is a piece of heaven's reversal plan. You won't have to chase them, they will find you. But hear this when the tables turn. Remain humble. The reversal is not only for your redemption, but also for your refinement. Heaven reverses not to inflate the ego, but to restore balance to destiny. Remember what the waiting taught you. Remember what the fire purified in you. Carry compassion for those who still stand where you once fell. The enemy thought the season of loss would silence you, but it only positioned you. Every setback became a setup for this very moment. The ground that once held your tears will now echo your laughter. Even creation responds to reversal. The winds that once opposed you will now carry you forward. Chosen one, your restoration will not come quietly, it will ripple. When God reverses, He does not only bless the individual, He blesses the environment. Your joy will overflow into your family, your circle, your community. The same light that restored you will awaken others still trapped in shadow. You are not merely being lifted, you are becoming a lifting. You may wonder, how will I recognize it when it happens? You will know because peace will return first. Peace is always the first sign of reversal. When anxiety breaks and calm begins to flow like water, know that heaven has signed the release order. The atmosphere shifts before circumstances do. This season is not a subtle correction, it is a divine turnaround. The calendar of heaven has moved in your favor. What you thought was ending was simply being rewritten. This is the year of divine exchange, ashes for beauty, mourning for joy, scarcity for abundance, confusion for clarity. Every place where you said, "It's over," heaven now declares, "It begins." The weight of your waiting was never in vain. God was preparing you for this exact pivot point. What once felt like your downfall will become your launch. Chosen one, the evidence of reversal will be impossible to ignore. People will see and know that the Lord Himself has intervened. You will no longer explain your story. Your life will do the explaining. The radiance of restoration will speak louder than any justification could. And now, as a prophetic act of agreement, I invite you to type 55555 below. Let that number be your symbol of divine reversal, the turning of tables, the restoration of years, the return of everything you thought was gone. When you write it, let it echo from your spirit to heaven. I receive my great reversal. For heaven has declared the record of your faithfulness complete. The shaking finished, the refining perfected. Now comes reward, not merely blessing, but balance restored. The same God who allowed your breaking now commands your rebuilding. Lift your eyes, chosen one. The story is not ending. It is shifting. Every loss has become seed, every delay divine design, every setback sacred preparation. The great reversal is here, and it bears your name. Chosen one, you have walked through the waiting, endured the silence, survived the shaking, and risen from the fire. You have seen heaven's reversals begin to unfold, and now you stand at the edge of a greater calling, the call to stand in light. This is not merely about survival anymore, it is about stewardship. The very light that once rescued you now demands to be carried forward. You were not refined just for your restoration. You were refined for responsibility. There is a divine law woven into the fabric of creation. Light that is hidden dies, but light that is shared multiplies. That is why heaven now turns its gaze toward you. Not with demand, but with invitation. You have been trusted with revelation, and now the world around you needs what you carry. The battles you faced were not simply for your victory, they were for your authority. What you overcame in private has equipped you to liberate others in public. Chosen one, you are not called to stand in the shadows of your past any longer. The same darkness that once intimidated you now trembles at your presence. For when light stands firm, darkness has no choice but to retreat. This is the essence of your calling, to bring illumination where confusion once reigned, to speak truth where silence once suffocated, to offer hope where despair once built walls. You must understand the weight of your light. It is not a metaphor, it is a mantle. The world is not waiting for perfection, it is waiting for authenticity. People do not need flawless saints. They need shining witnesses, and you are one of them. Every scar you carry emits light now. Every healed wound has become a window through which others will glimpse God's mercy. We are reminded through the writings of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. This scripture is no longer a verse for you, it is a mission. The light that once flickered in the midst of your pain now burns steady. You are becoming a living lighthouse, guiding those still lost in the storms you once survived. Heaven's plan has always been larger than your deliverance. It has always been about your influence. But light does not stand alone. It draws both attraction and resistance. As you rise, you will feel eyes upon you, some in admiration, others in envy. Do not shrink to make others comfortable. Your light is not arrogance, it is assignment. The moment you begin to apologize for shining is the moment darkness gains ground. You were created to illuminate, not to blend in. Your presence will carry conviction without you speaking a word. Those still wrestling with compromise will sense the contrast your light creates. It will not be your job to convince them, your consistency will do that. The way you love, forgive, and stay steady will testify more powerfully than sermons ever could. Chosen one, do not underestimate how many are watching, silently drawing courage from your endurance. There are eyes you will never see, lives you will never meet, yet your obedience is already transforming them. Light travels farther than sound. Long after your words fade, your example will keep shining. To stand in light means to walk in transparency. You can no longer hide behind fear or pretense. You have learned to live unveiled before heaven. Now you must live unmasked before people. The same God who covered you in the storm now sends you uncovered as a messenger. You are not meant to blend, you are meant to blaze. But understand this too. Light must be maintained. Just as lamps require oil, your spirit requires intimacy with God. If you neglect communion, the flame weakens. If you pour yourself out without returning to the source, the glow dims. Staying in the Word, staying in prayer, staying humble, these are not duties, they are lifelines. The brighter your influence, the deeper your dependence must be. And know this light always reveals what has been hidden, even within yourself. As you shine outward, God will continue to polish inward. New layers of growth will emerge. The call to stand in light is not an arrival, it is an evolving relationship with truth. Each day, heaven will peel away more shadows from your soul, making you even more radiant. You may feel unworthy of such calling, but that humility is precisely why you were chosen. God does not pick the flawless. He picks the faithful. You are not shining because you are perfect, you are shining because you refuse to quit. You are the living proof that light can survive darkness, that grace can redeem ashes, that purpose can rise from pain. So now, chosen one, stand tall. The light you carry is not small, and neither is your assignment. You are a torchbearer of heaven's hope, an echo of divine truth. The world may grow dim, but your light will not flicker. You have been appointed for this moment to remind humanity that even in chaos, glory still burns. Let your light stand firm, not as defiance, but as declaration the darkness did not win. It never will. Chosen one, the journey has not been easy. You have climbed through valleys of silence, waded through floods of doubt, and stood beneath storms that could have broken anyone else. Yet here you are, still standing, still believing, still burning with quiet strength. And now heaven draws near in a way you have never known before. The hour of visitation approaches, and it carries the fragrance of fulfillment. There are seasons when God seems distant, and then there are moments when His presence becomes almost tangible. When time slows, the air thickens, and your spirit feels the electricity of eternity brushing against it. That chosen one is what draws near now. You are entering a visitation hour, a divine intersection where heaven touches earth in the details of your life. This visitation will not always look like thunder or visions. Sometimes it will arrive softly in the stillness of morning, in a sudden peace during chaos, in a sentence from a stranger that feels like it came from heaven itself. God knows how to reach you in the language your soul understands. He speaks through symbols, patterns, encounters, and even silences that now make sense. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. You have waited long, but the appointed time draws near. Heaven never misses its schedule. The visitation you have longed for will arrive precisely when your heart is most ready to receive it. Not when you feel prepared, but when you are positioned. The delay has not been denial, it has been design. During this hour, pay attention to the small details. The extraordinary often hides in the ordinary. A song that moves your heart unexpectedly. A verse that lingers in your mind. A door that opens without effort. These are all signs of divine nearness. Heaven often walks softly so faith can awaken without fear. Chosen one, you will begin to notice how creation itself responds to you differently. The wind will carry whispers of peace. The night will no longer feel oppressive but sacred. You will sense that heaven is not only above you but around you. Angels move quietly, but their presence alters atmospheres. You may not see them, but you will feel the lightness of their company. This visitation is not a spectacle. It is intimacy. It is heaven leaning close enough for you to sense divine breath. You have prayed for answers, but what God brings instead is awareness. Answers satisfy the mind, presence satisfies the soul. And when His presence settles, confusion dissolves. Questions that haunted you lose their power, replaced by an assurance that you are held in eternal hands. Visitation is also activation. When God draws near, something dormant within you awakens. Dreams long buried begin to pulse again. Prophetic insight sharpens, compassion deepens. You will feel an urgency not of fear, but of purpose. Heaven's nearness always stirs holy momentum. You will know when it happens because your ordinary days will suddenly feel divine. The line between prayer and reality will blur. You will begin to sense that you are living inside an answered prayer. Be aware. Though divine presence exposes what pretends to be sacred, when light draws close, shadows are revealed. The visitation will not only comfort you, it will correct you. But correction is never condemnation, it is alignment. God will gently reorder what has drifted off course. Every area that resisted Him will yield effortlessly in His warmth. You will discover that surrender feels like relief, not loss. Chosen one, do not fear this closeness. Some resist visitation because it disrupts their familiarity. But you have already been disrupted. You have nothing left to lose but distance. Let His presence invade every corner of your life, every hidden place where weariness has settled. Let it heal, reorder, and renew. The hour of visitation will mark you. Afterward, you will not be able to return to normal patterns of living. The hunger within you will deepen, and your discernment will sharpen. You will crave silence not out of loneliness, but because you have tasted glory there. You will walk differently, pray differently, even speak differently because you have been touched by the eternal. When Moses descended from the mountain, his face shone so brightly that the people could not look at him. That was not glory earned, it was glory absorbed. So it will be with you. Heaven's nearness will become visible, not through light around you, but through peace within you. You will carry calm into chaos, wisdom into confusion, and hope into despair. Your presence will announce that God still visits his people. Chosen one, destiny is aligning. The threads that once felt scattered are now being drawn together by unseen hands. The chaos you endured was never random, it was choreography. Heaven was weaving a pattern so intricate that only now, in hindsight, can you begin to perceive its beauty. This is the hour of final alignment, when prophecy meets preparation, when what was promised meets the version of you that can finally hold it. Everything you walk through has refined the rhythm of your life to match the rhythm of heaven. You may feel a stillness in the air right now, as though creation itself is holding its breath. That's because alignment always comes before acceleration. The earth grows quiet before the dawn breaks. The seed stills before it splits. You are in that stillness, the breath before breakthrough. The apostle reminds us in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. All things work together for good for those who love God, the called according to his purpose. Every fragment of your story, every mistake, every heartbreak, every delay has been drawn into divine order. Heaven wastes nothing. What looked like detours were doorways. What looked like endings were entrances. God has been positioning you in plain sight, even when you thought you were hidden. Chosen one, alignment feels different from striving. Striving is noisy. Alignment is peaceful. Striving is you pushing. Alignment is heaven pulling. This is your time to let go of the anxious effort and step into the effortless flow of divine movement. Doors that resisted you before will open on their own hinges. Opportunities that once required explanations will now find you without introduction. You are stepping into a current, not a contest. The best way to understand this season is to imagine an instrument being tuned. Before a symphony begins, every string, every key must find the same frequency. That tuning can sound harsh at first, high notes, dissonance, tension, but when it's done, harmony fills the room. That's what God has been doing with you. Every area of your life has been tuned to the pitch of purpose. The sounds that once clashed your past, your calling, your relationships, your waiting all begin to harmonize now. Alignment also means letting go of what no longer fits your melody. Not everyone who walked with you in preparation can stay for manifestation. Some connections served their divine season. Others will reappear later, refined just as you have been. Do not grieve what fades. Heaven only removes what would distort the next note. As you sense this alignment, you may feel an inner call to share what's awakening in you. Let your light ripple outward. When you like or share a message that ignites your soul, you're not just interacting, you're extending the vibration. Every click becomes a spark, every repost a ripple that carries truth to another waiting heart. It's how divine alignment expands beyond a single soul. It becomes a chorus of faith. And when you subscribe, think of it as remaining in rhythm with heaven's flow. You are saying, keep me tuned to the sound of truth. Keep me in the stream of light. These aren't digital gestures, they are spiritual signals, acts of agreement that keep your heart in harmony with what God is saying now. If you ever feel stirred to donate or give, see it not as obligation, but as participation in the symphony. Every seed of generosity becomes a note in the song heaven is composing through these words. Your offering, whether time, attention, or resource, adds warmth to this growing melody of hope. You're not funding content, you're fueling connection. Like oil feeding the flame of a lamp, your support ensures the light doesn't dim for those who still walk in night. And yes, when this message moves your spirit, leave your reflection in the comments below. Write what it awakened in you. Someone, somewhere, will read your words and find their confirmation within them. What you release may become another's revelation. When you speak, the echo travels farther than you think. Chosen one, this alignment marks not the end of the journey but the synchronization of it. You will begin to notice divine coincidences multiplying names, times, opportunities intersecting perfectly. You will stand in awe as you realize that what you prayed for is now walking toward you. Not because you chased it, but because heaven aligned it. The stars were never meant to be scattered. They were arranged to tell a story. So it is with you. Every event, every delay, every divine meeting has been written into constellation. From above, the pattern is already complete. From where you stand, the lines are only now connecting. So, breathe. Beloved, the time of confusion has ended. The compass of heaven points true north once again, and your steps are guided by rhythm, not resistance. You are moving in divine time. And as you continue forward, remember, alignment is not something you achieve. It's something you allow. Stay surrendered. Stay open. Stay listening. Heaven's music is playing, and you, chosen one, have finally found your perfect note. Chosen one. The air around you is changing and it feels lighter, fuller, alive with movement you cannot yet see. Heaven has entered the phase of reward, the outpouring of what was promised, the visible manifestation of what faith held in secret. You have waited, you have wept, you have warred in silence, and now the season of divine repayment begins. Reward, in the language of heaven, is never mere compensation. It is not simply getting back what you lost. It is receiving beyond measure. God does not repay in equal portions. He multiplies every hidden sacrifice, every uncelebrated act of obedience, every quiet surrender has gathered weight in the eternal scales. Now the balance tips in your favor. When heaven repays, it restores with interest. Time itself bends to return what was stolen. Lost years reappear in unexpected opportunities. Broken relationships find redemption. Dry ground begins to bloom. You begin to recognize that none of it was wasted, not the pain, not the silence, not even the mistakes. Everything was seed, and the harvest comes now in abundance. The Word of God declares in Joel chapter 2, verse 25, I will restore to you the years the locust has eaten, great and young, all the swarming armies. That promise is not poetry, it is prophecy. It is the rhythm of redemption loss transformed into legacy, grief turned into grace. You are living proof that what is devoured by darkness can be reimagined by light. The reward you are entering is not a coincidence, it is divine sequence. You will see signs of this outpouring first in subtle ways. Peace will precede provision. Clarity will come before opportunity. It is heaven's way of preparing your spirit for overflow. The blessing that comes too early becomes a burden. But now you are ready. The waiting has strengthened your foundation so that what is poured out will not drown you but sustain you. Chosen one. Do not mistake quiet beginnings for small ones. Divine rewards often start as whispers, not waves. The favor you will walk in might at first appear ordinary, a conversation, a connection, a sudden inner knowing, but beneath the surface, entire systems are shifting. Heaven is setting into motion blessings you could never have orchestrated. The outpouring will reach every area of your life, spiritual, emotional, relational, and even physical. The same God who healed your heart will now heal your circumstances. You will find yourself walking in a peace that does not depend on external comfort. Provision will come in ways that carry the fingerprints of the divine, timely, personal, precise. But remember, this truth reward is not a trophy. It is a trust. What heaven pours into your hands is meant to flow through them. The abundance you receive is both blessing and assignment. You will be asked to steward it with wisdom, generosity, and compassion. The flow of heaven never stagnates, it circulates. If you try to hoard it, it withers. But if you pour it out, it multiplies. This is the mystery of the outpouring. You are not simply the receiver. You are the channel. Every gift given to you becomes a gift through you. As you walk in this season, opportunities to bless others will emerge naturally. Acts of kindness will no longer feel like effort. They will feel like overflow. You will give freely because you finally understand that nothing in heaven's economy is ever lost. You may also notice that favor finds you in unusual places. Doors you never knocked on will open. People you never sought will reach out. Ideas long forgotten will reappear with fresh anointing. This is how divine repayment operates. It seeks you out like a river flowing downhill, unstoppable, drawn toward its appointed destination. Chosen one. Reward is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like rest, the kind of deep, healing stillness that only comes after long endurance. Sometimes it looks like reconciliation, a conversation that releases years of tension. Sometimes it looks like provision, unexpected yet perfectly timed. And sometimes it looks like joy for no reason at all. That joy is heaven's way of saying, "It is finished." The outpouring also comes with perspective. You will begin to see how everything connects: the seasons of loss, the years of testing, the moments of doubt. They all form one story, a tapestry woven from tears and triumphs alike. You will look back not with bitterness, but with wonder, realizing that every step was guided by grace. And even now, heaven continues to pour. Not all rewards come at once. They unfold progressively, like dawn spreading across the horizon. You are stepping into ongoing abundance, a rhythm of giving and receiving, of being filled and poured out again. This is the divine cycle, and you are now in harmony with it. Chosen one. The hands that once trembled in waiting are now open in receiving. The heart that once ached with longing now pulses with gratitude. You are walking beneath open heavens, and the rain will not cease until every seed you sowed in faith has blossomed into fruit. This is your outpouring season, not someday now. Stand in it, breathe it in, and let the flood of heaven's goodness remind you that faith was never in vain. The promise was never delayed, it was being prepared. Chosen one, heaven has completed its record, and the seal is being placed upon your name. The journey that began in secrecy has now come full circle. Every prayer, every tear, every act of quiet endurance has been woven into a story far greater than you imagined. You have moved from being hidden to being heralded, from being broken to being built. Now, heaven sets its final mark upon you, the eternal seal. This seal is not ink or symbol. It is essence. It is the impression of divine ownership, the invisible mark that identifies you as one who belongs to God. You are not just favored. You are claimed. You are not merely restored. You are commissioned. The trials that once made you question your worth have now revealed it. You are heaven's signature upon the earth. In ancient times, kings sealed letters with wax and signet rings to prove authenticity. When the seal was set, no one could tamper with what was written inside. So it is with you. The king has sealed your destiny. No word spoken against you, no betrayal, no misstep can alter what heaven has stamped. What is sealed by God remains untouchable. As was spoken in the book of Ephesians chapter 1, verse 13. When you believed, you were marked in him with a seal, the promised Holy Spirit, who is a deposit guaranteeing our inheritance. This seal is not just protection, it is promise. It guarantees that the inheritance you have been waiting for is secure. The battles you fought were never to prove your worth, they were to protect your seal. The enemy knew he could not destroy you, so he tried to distract you. But distraction failed, and now the seal shines untouched. Chosen one. You have reached the threshold where destiny turns into legacy. The anointing you carry will not fade with time. It will ripple into generations. The prayers you whispered in solitude will echo in the lives of those who come after you. Heaven's seal ensures continuity. What began in you will not die with you. This moment is holy, quiet, yet charged with eternal weight. You may not feel different, but the atmosphere knows. The spiritual realm recognizes what has taken place. You have crossed from preparation into permanence. The glory that rested upon you temporarily during moments of visitation now resides in you continually. You have become the dwelling place of purpose. The seal also signifies completion. Heaven has reviewed the record and declared it good. The scrolls that began with struggle now end in song. The angels who once wrote your tears as testimony now sing your name in victory. There is no longer any accusation left standing. You are fully known, fully forgiven, fully anointed. But with this seal also comes serenity. You no longer need to strive for approval or chase validation. The seal means you are settled. It tells the universe that your identity is established and your purpose anchored. You are no longer defined by wounds or waiting, but by wisdom and wonder. You have become both evidence and example of God's faithfulness. Chosen one, the seasons ahead will still bring challenges, but you will face them differently now. Not as one seeking victory, but as one who already carries it. You will walk with calm authority because the seal ensures that every battle ends in your favor. Even what seems to go wrong will circle back into alignment, because sealed destinies cannot derail. Look at how far you've come from uncertainty to understanding, from endurance to embodiment. The very qualities that once felt like burdened sensitivity, compassion, discernment have become your greatest strengths. You are not who you were when this began. Heaven has not just changed your circumstances, it has transformed your nature. And now, as the seal is pressed upon your story, there is silence in heaven, holy stillness that follows fulfillment. You have done what few dare to do. You believed without evidence, obeyed without applause, and waited without bitterness. That faith has become your crown, chosen one. This is your completion, not an ending, but an eternal beginning. You have stepped into the rhythm of heaven itself, where time cannot erode what God has ordained. From this moment forward, your life will no longer feel like striving but flowing. You will move with ease because the seal has aligned you perfectly with your purpose. The King has sealed your record. The courts of heaven have closed the book of testing and opened the book of triumph. The mark upon you will never fade, for it is written not in wax, but in spirit, not on parchment, but upon your soul. You are sealed, secured, and sanctified, and heaven whispers now, not as command, but as comfort. It is finished, and it is good. Chosen one, the story has reached its holy conclusion, but the journey continues through you. What began as a whisper from heaven has now become a living word in motion. You are no longer the seeker, you are the sign. You carry the sound of heaven wherever you go. If these words have stirred something in your spirit, let that awakening speak. When you like this message, you acknowledge, I heard the call. When you share it, you become a vessel carrying light to another weary heart still waiting in silence. When you subscribe, you stay connected to the rhythm of revelation, ensuring that every new word of destiny finds you right on time. And if you feel led, leave your reflection below. Write what moment touched you, what sentence made your heart still. Your words may become the confirmation someone else has been praying for. This is how heaven's fire keeps burning through connection, through testimony, through every heart that refuses to let light fade. The scroll is sealed, but the mission continues. Carry this message forward. Chosen one. You are proof that prophecy breathes and heaven is still speaking.